Well, sadly, we also get users that have already been scammed. So we guide them through how to secure their accounts. We guide them through all the steps that they can take on moving forward to let not that happen again. And that's why we
Mhm.
do it with each users that comes, no matter what their question is. We always do the scam prevention. We'll do the maximizing the security of your account.
You're listening to the Web3 Creators Podcast, where we speak to the brightest minds and builders in crypto, DeFi, NFTs, and the metaverse. Our goal is to give you the absolute best tools for building a thriving business in the Web3 space. Now, here's your host, Hernan Arber. Let's start creating.
Creators, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Web3 Creators Podcast. I have with me none less than Charles Arroyo, or Bishop, from the EOS support team. Hey, Bishop, how are you, mate?
Hey, I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
So, in full disclosure, we had to start over the episode because I missed to hit the record button. So, bear with us, guys. But we're going to take it all the way back from the top. So, Bishop, tell us a bit about yourself. How are you, and a bit of your background for people that don't know you.
Yeah, sure. I'm quite the perfect example of someone that actually didn't know anything about Web3 space or crypto in general. That came into our community. I had a background in medical school. I did literature studies. I helped create companies with communication, my skills. And after a while, I discovered the EOS community at random, just by reading Dan Lambert's book, More Equal Animals, which described the political playoff system that we have now on EOS for many of our organizations. I loved the idea. I wanted to help bring it forward. So I joined the EOS community, and with my own set of skills, creation and communication, I sought an organization where I could help. And very organically, I found EOS support that needed someone with my skills to help them onboard new members into the EOS community. And that's where I found my place. So it's a very long journey, but in the end, it's worth it. No matter the time you take, well, if you come in the Web3 space, you're in the right place.
No, definitely. I think your path is an excellent example for anyone that wants to get into Web3 or find a role. So instead of the previous way of getting jobs, which is you submit a resume, get interviewed, maybe pass a technical exam, this works differently, where you come in, you start adding value, kind of offering your help and your support, and then eventually you kind of get noticed and get more things delegated to you until you become an integral part of the team, right?
That's right. That's correct. And that's something I love very much about the Web3. It's a new kind of place where people are not in place because they got elected, because they got recruited some years ago. They're still in the same job position. No one knows why, because he's doing a bad job or anything. The Web3 space and organizations we are trying to build today for the next generations is a place where people are in place because other people in the organization see the value that they bring to their organization. And they're constantly being elected through new governance tools to remain in place because people trust them, because people know that they have skills and value to bring, and they're there because they deserve it. And that's something I very much value about the organizations that we are trying to create in the Web3 space and in the EOS community.
Mm-hmm. So I understand that you came into the community directly through Eden. So Eden was the first thing that caught your attention, not EOS as the currency of the blockchain before Eden. So tell us a bit about that, and how did you get involved?
So doing creation work, doing communication work as a freelance, I selected projects and organizations and associations that truly deserve to have a voice because I saw the potential in them, because I wanted to help them. And when I discovered the EOS community and that they were trying to implement the political playoff system of Dan Larimer, I saw, yes, we need that. Building more ways for us to collaborate is essential. The world will face many challenges going forward in the future, and we need better tools to better collaborate together. And this is exactly what we're doing here in this community through Eden, through EOS Respect, and through all the organizations that have implemented the political playoff system into their organization.
Bishop, let's try to define Eden and the political playoff system for people that are new, and that I'm going to try to reach a broader audience that are never been into EOS or involved. What is Eden in a short, in your view?
Eden uses what we call fractal democracy, but a better term that I like to use is political playoffs, because everyone sees what a playoff is. Everyone in the organization gets into small groups. If you're 100, everyone gets divided into small groups of 5 to 6. Between each of these groups, only one person comes out after an hour of discussion between all of them, because they trusted that person to better represent them, that they truly saw the value in what he was about to bring to the organization. And after that, this person gets grouped with the others from all the other groups that passed their own group. And after that, in the end, we come to the only people that truly represent the network and the organization in a truly organic manner and a truly democratic manner, compared to what we had previously, one that was plagued by political parties, by the influence of the media. Here, everything is done in a single place at a single time. This is a CBLC resistance system, because everyone knows each other, everyone is seen in camera during an hour discussion between all the groups. And that's something that we have implemented into many of our organizations in the EOS community, EOS Respect, Eden, and much more that we are about to create at the EOS Support.
And if I'd say there are a lot of features and strengths that Eden provides to a brand new governance system. So I think the thing that most strikes me about Eden is I think it's the first system of decentralized governance that we've seen that is not dependent on the size of your wallet, meaning it's not this token-weighted governance model that we're used to with proof of stake or delegated proof of stake, when whoever's got the most coins makes the call. Here is kind of the fact that those small groups are randomized, so you cannot really get pre-organized into parties. I think that's a lot of strength. And I think the other great feature is that it is so scalable, because just by adding another level, right, you can expand the organization from 400 or 500 to like 5,000, and then because of those players, those levels of the playoffs, end up diminishing the amount of people logarithmically. That means that the amount of scalability is exponential, so that you can scale it. I think Dan mentioned that you could organize 1 million people with like only 10 playoff
10 rounds. Yeah, that's it.
So I think that's really amazing. Now let's speak about your mission on EOS Support. What are you guys doing? How are you helping out the community? What are you guys trying to do?
Yeah, so at EOS Support, we are a community-led non-profit organization, and we are dedicated to providing support in all its forms to the EOS community, and also to companies and organizations seeking to develop on EOS. So we have a website with 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free live support for EOS users and new people coming into the Web3 space and seeking to enjoy all the centralized tools that we have created for the Web3 of tomorrow. We create guides for them in 9 different languages, tutorials, and we always seek to do more to empower our community with accessible information and a seamless onboarding experience into the EOS community. Because that's the challenge with the decentralized Web3 we're trying to create for future generations, right? So helping newcomers onboard this new era, one where they can build true autonomy with self-custody of their assets. All this far from the centralized Web2 that is still controlled by a handful of major companies. EOS Support wants to build smart organizations that give power back to the people, and we hope that our work in the months and years to come will exemplify this. So we have created, after the guides, after the tutorials, we always sought more ways to empower the EOS community. So to ensure an accountable funding of our public goods, for example, and the projects and community contributions of the EOS community, all these contributions that power the EOS network, we developed EOS Respect. So as a governance layer and funding mechanism for all the EOS Support community and the projects that are affiliated with us. It's based on EOS, the tool used by Eden for its elections. And it's based on the political playoff system that runs it. So its purpose is to distribute pooled funds to those contributing the most to helping develop EOS support, and its partners. Anyone that brings value to the EOS community is welcome to join EOS Respect. They have a place to bring their true value, receive funding for their project, and the most important thing, they have to report on their promises. So every project that is affiliated with EOS support, every person that comes into EOS Respect, they receive funds, sure, but they also have to report on their work after each monthly election. So everyone is accountable for the value they bring, and it helps the EOS community better know itself. It builds trust between each other, and that's the most important thing with Eden as well, trust.
Yes.
Because
trust and accountability, and because everything's on the blockchain, funds are being distributed, and then they can be monitored and how they're being spent. So I think that brings a whole level of organization that is truly remarkable. How big is now the EOS support community?
Well, close to 100 members now. So we have people from all over the EOS community that
that's
come.
Like a significant part of the active members of the entire EOS active community.
Yes, because we have people that not only are project managers and affiliated project with EOS support, great project like EOS Bees, etc. We also have people that are just members of EOS support, that do translations, that promote EOS in their local communities, because every little thing that brings value to this community counts, and we need a system to account for that. So anyone that brings value just by sharing the EOS community posts on social media, or raising education in their local communities about Web3, about crypto, about the EOS community, but these are very important contributions as well. So we need a way to account for them as well, for the little people.
For sure. And do you guys provide live support to users that get stuck, misplace their funds, get phished attack, or are those stuff? Do you guys providing live support to those users, right?
Yeah, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, free live support on eosupport.io, and we provide support in 9 different languages. So anyone.
How does that work? I am a user in Namibia. I just got an email that to send EOS to a different account, and I got kind of swindled. And I'm going to EOS support to say, hey, this is guys is asking me for a transaction. Is this you? How do you guys onboard him? Take me through that.
Well, there, in less than a minute, he has some real person to talk to, someone that is knowledgeable about the EOS community, and whatever they want to discover about the EOS network. Everyone is seeking something different in the Web3 of tomorrow. So maybe financial, through or NFTs, or building self-custody for their assets, knowing how to better secure their assets, which is very important. Also, so we have very different agents that help them with that in 9 different languages. So anything that they want to discover specifically about the Web3 space, which is massive, well, we have someone that is there to accompany them all along the way. And if they don't find the answer in between all the guides and tutorials that we have on our website, they still have someone they know that they can always talk to. And again, we are the concierge for the EOS network as chosen by the EOS community. We are funded by Pomelo crowdfunding seasons through each Pomelo season. We receive funding from the ENF, but we are only here because the community chose us to be here. And that's something that is very important for the Web3 space of tomorrow. We are not here ad infinitum. We are here until the community decides that we no longer do a good job for them as a new concierge for the EOS network.
Well, as long as we are trying to onboard external users, so in the case of EOS works completely different to most of the EVM well-known networks like Ethereum and other EVM supported chains, where you have this private key, and that private key opens the public key, and then that's it. You have a wallet, which is, it's not created. You have it because that's your public key, private key pair that's on the blockchain, and then whoever gets that private key gets access to the public key, and that's how you perform transactions. Every transaction costs a fee, and that's kind of a model that, although it's still new to people outside of Web3, it's kind of how the blockchain and crypto people are used to handling things. It comes all the way from the Bitcoin wallets, and EOS works differently, right? Where you have an account that you are creating, and that account needs resources to operate. So that's what you're paying, that's what you're using your EOS for. But once you have those resources, which come in the form of network, CPU, and RAM, the transactions are free of cost. You don't pay for the gas fees, which allows for a lot of features like not only scalability and speed, but also removes that incentive for front-running transactions on the side of the validators and stuff. Creators, just a quick break from our episode to do a shameless plug of the Web3 Creator Dojo. I'm building a community of Web3 founders and builders. So if you're one of them or you want to become one of them, enroll for free. There's also an option to take the Web3 Business Creator course, which is really great as a resource. And I'm doing a special promotion, which is Biddling the Bear. Only a few spots left for that promo, but it's 80% discount. So you might want to make use of that. So go check it out and continue enjoying your episode. How do you onboard a new user that is brand new to EOS, doesn't understand how EOS account operates, and you try to onboard him brand new? This is a new guy, just got some EOS on his Binance, and now he wants to interact with the ecosystem, buy an NFT or get involved with Eden. What's the process? How does he create an account to drive us through that?
Well, first, if they come to the website seeking a specific help for NFTs, for using EOS DeFi, etc., we help them with that. But with each user that comes into the EOS Support IO platform, we always do at the end of our chat scam prevention. Always. They need to be aware of all the different ways that they can get scammed in the EOS network. That's the most important thing, the security of your assets. We built self-custody in the Web3 space, but one of the most important things, of course, is securing those assets. So we do scam prevention with each user at the end of our chat, and we also forward them to all the guides and tutorials we have on maximizing the security of their accounts. As you said, EOS is unparalleled with securing accounts because we can give, for example, many different permissions to an account. I can give the permissions to accounts from my family and friends that I trust. And in the event that something happens to my EOS account, they can directly intervene through a 2/3 threshold or whatever I set for my account to come and take back this account. And that's something that exists only on EOS. And there's so many ways to build true security for your account on EOS. And yes, so guiding users through that is something that we are very keen on.
Do you get this? I see whenever I look into my account or any account for that matter, there's a ton of tokens being airdropped of this voice or whatever project is that they kind of send you, airdrop you a token because there's no transaction cost. It's kind of, in the one hand, if you have the resources, it's very easy to spam people and they tell you, here's a free token airdrop, come claim it. And then they send you to a phishing website, right? Do you guys get a lot of those type of requests from new users?
Sadly, we also get users that have already been scammed. So we guide them through how to secure their accounts. We guide them through all the steps that they can take on moving forward to let not that happen again. And that's why we do it with each users that comes, no matter what their question is. We always do the scam prevention. We will do the maximizing the security of your account. That's normal.
So I think you guys are a blessing to the community, into the space, and I think you guys are going to be needed as long as there are scammers, and I don't see any the scammers going away anytime soon.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we always keep track of all the new scams that happen. So every month, there's new scams that happen, and we keep track of all of them, and we edit all our existing guides and tutorials to include them as well. That's something that we'll never stop doing, because as long as we exist, there will always be scammers as well.
Yes. So recently, you guys at EOS Support have started also getting into kind of spreading the good word of EOS and getting into the narrative and news articles about EOS. So how did that came along, and how do you see that moving forward?
Yes, because we never stopped looking for more ways to benefit the EOS ecosystem. We built EOS Respect to do auditing work for the EOS community and the projects, bring accountable funding to our public goods. But since the auditing work of the projects is such a crucial process, for example, one that aims to achieve, true accountability and transparency for our public goods, well, we developed also EOS Audit, for example. EOS Audit published its first report, which includes reporting work on the 15 most top projects on Pomelo, for example. So all 15 projects got audited, and all the information of those public goods was then made accessible to the community to better know itself, its public goods, and know how transparent they were, what their promises are. And audit after audit, well, we'll see which public good truly lives up to its promises. And if one doesn't deserve it, well, we can change it. And organically, we can have more trusting and accountable public goods. And the EOS audit will have its own community down the line. People that are actually skilled in auditing work will have a place they can gather as a true decentralized community and offer their services from there. And that's something the Web3, and with the help of the political playoff system of EOS Respect and EOS Audit, we can implement to achieve organizations where people with the same set of skills, maybe auditing work, maybe they're lawyers, maybe they're medics, or anything, they can truly have a place where they can come to consensus by themselves on how to manage their public good and organization between them. That's something.
So let's speak a bit about Pomelo, so that also the audience kind of gets to know the ecosystem in its whole. It's become such an important source for funding of projects that help out and help build the ecosystem. So, what is your definition of Pomelo? How is that? Give us a brief introduction.
Pomelo is a quadratic funding platform, meaning anyone can come into the Pomelo ecosystem, and after each crowdfunding season, they can submit their grant on how they can contribute a public good to the EOS ecosystem. And there they'll be receiving a matching pool of funds that is distributed to Pomelo by the ENF and the EOS ecosystem. And the fact is that through that grant, they'll be receiving donations from the community, and for each donation they receive, they'll be receiving an even greater part of those matching funds. So the more people donate to your project on Pomelo for your public good on EOS, which must be a public good and must be open source if it's a project based on code, well, it will receive even more funding through the perceived value of your project from the community. Now, that's, in my opinion, one of the great ways that we have on EOS to fund our public goods. Because even after the whole season is ended, Pomelo does a great job. EOS Nation manages it. Does a great job at figuring out if there were civil attacks, if there was some type of wrongdoing in the elections and the funding distribution. So even after the seasons have ended, there's also much auditing work being done to make sure that the funding got rightly deserved and distributed to the right projects also.
So let's get a bit into what constitutes a public good for a network like EOS, because it's very easy, and there are tons of grant submissions that are for-profit personal projects or companies that want to get extra funding to develop their platform, and even though it's being built on EOS, it doesn't constitute a public good, right? Because it's either not accessible to everyone, or the access to a platform can forbid another one to access it. So it's kind of something that you need to buy in or pay for the access, right?
So if it's a project based on code, it has to be open source. It has to be to the benefit of everyone, for example. And a public good specifically has to be based on non-rivalry. This means that when a good is consumed, for example, it doesn't reduce the amount of availability to others. So for EOS support, no matter how many people come into the EOS support website, we'll always have live agents to answer as many people as possible. Someone coming to us doesn't mean that we don't have time for someone else. Public good is also non-excludability. So this occurs when it's not possible to provide a good without being possible for others to enjoy. For example, if you erect a dam to stop a flooding, you protect everyone in the area, whether they contributed to the flooding defenses or not. So non-excludability, non-rivalry, these are the first definitions of a public good. And once a project has these accounted for, they can submit their grant to Pomelo, and there they can receive the funding they deserve to bring a true public good to the EOS community, get funded by the said community, and there be able to, well, do what they love to do, build the project they want to build for this community.
Let's speak about the idea having this kind of customer support for crypto, or customer support for a cryptocurrency, because one of the things that have made me a strong customer for one of my favorite wallets, which is Zengo. They're based here in Israel. It's the fact that although they're a Bitcoin wallet and you're self-custodying your assets, the minute you have an issue or a question, you have a help button, and in a minute, like you guys, you have someone live on the other side answering your questions and explaining you what's going on with your addresses, your wallets, where did your fund go, and they can go into your own account and say, and you can ask them, hey, what's going on with my transaction? And they can tell you, oh, it's being delayed, it hasn't been gone through, it wasn't signed, or whatever. And I think that is such a crucial point. I consider myself tech savvy, and I still feel confident, and prefer a wallet that I know there's someone on the other side that I can talk to, whereas most of crypto does not have this, right? So do you think that the concept of EOS support is something that we could or should export to every other cryptocurrency that is out there, or is it something that we should that should be, it's EOS specific because of the particularities and the differences of how EOS works?
No, I think it's definitely something that should be exported to other cryptos and communities. It's something that has helped a lot the EOS community. I mean, we see all the love from the donations. I do an event also every Thursday at 5 p.m. GC on the EOS support channel, the giveaway show. There I meet with people from the community, and I see the love that people have for our organization because we have them throughout everything they need. And it's something needed by all other organizations in the Web3 space. If we want to have a chance to really make this Web3 space one where we have true self-custody of our assets, true autonomy, decentralized governance, truly make it something that works for the new users of tomorrow, we need, organizations such as EOS support to help with onboarding. And EOS support surely will help other crypto communities, have the services of EOS support. The same one we provide to the EOS network. In the future, we may be glad to provide them as well to other crypto communities.
Okay, so Bishop, here goes the $1 million or $1 billion startup idea. Okay, the project's called Wallet Support, and you offer what you're doing on EOS support. Instead of that being a community-oriented nonprofit organization, you can build a startup that offers customer support as a service for all crypto wallets that come online in a minute and answer users of any other blockchain currency or any wallet, and they start answering questions of any type of what's going on with my transaction, my account, or I got hacked, or where's my password, and those kind of things. How do you like that idea?
Well, for me, we have to differentiate for-profit organizations and non-profit organizations. This is definitely non-profit organizations, a public good for the EOS network, and we need our public goods to be just that. Some organizations that we can truly trust. We wouldn't be here if we didn't receive.
The EOS support is community-oriented, built from the community for the community. But when I'm just thinking of such an important, you guys are providing such a crucial service that I already see that adding value to any wallet developer out there that would pay for having something like that. So I'm just dedicated also to bring new business ideas to potential founders in the Web3 space. So if you guys are listening to this episode and you want to take on this idea, you can contact me, contact Bishop, come into the community, and there's a $1 billion idea right there.
Yeah, one way we've tackled this is through implementing the support chat widget that we have on our website, eosupport.io, and many other websites in the Web3 space and the EOS community. So many websites that are built around the EOS ecosystem have implemented a little widget, which is a small blue button at the bottom right of the screen that you can click at any time on any website that has implemented it to contact our support directly. So you're not on the EOS support.io website, you're on some wallet website, you're on the website from the EOS community or project, and they have this small button that is us. That is the trusted concierge of the EOS network. That is your support, and it's there already. No, you don't have to go on our website to receive our help. You can also claim it in others, other websites and projects in the EOS community.
That's amazing, Bishop. I love your work, guys, and let's end up with maybe a positive tone. Are you optimistic about the future of EOS and this new narrative with the foundation and where the direction is going?
Very much so. I'm in love with everything the EOS Network Foundation has achieved so far. They have a much better replacement for Block One, much more open, much more transparent about everything they're trying to
I
achieve.
don't know if they'd like to be called a replacement, but let's call it a new leadership.
That's it. Yeah. And yes, there's so many things happening in the EOS ecosystem. I can only concentrate on what we're trying to do at EOS Support. For example, we are building a new platform, a second version for our whole EOS Support IO website. We're going to have an EOS roadmap for everyone can learn very easily where the EOS ecosystem is headed. We're going to have DApp collections with all the DApps that are there for everyone to discover. We're also going to implement community hubs. So these are a way for local communities around the EOS ecosystem to have their own place where they can share content, discussions about EOS without having to build their own website, without having to spend funds building their own community's website to discuss it. We're going to have those distributed for free through the EOS Support, new EOSsupport.io website for them. And it's very close to completion. We're going to have that at the end of February or beginning of March. So very soon, we're going to unveil new tools for the EOS community to better know itself, to enjoy all the new tools that EOS Support has to offer. So I can only concentrate on the work we are doing.
So EOS Support is EOSsupport.io, but where can an audience find you specifically, Bishop?
Well, I'm not so active on social media because I spend so much time working.
Oh, you can take this podcast episode as you're starting as the starting gun for you, and you're developing your social media presence.
Everyone is free to reach out to me. My main way of communication is my Twitter, which is at Bishop3D You can find me there. All my creations, when I was a freelance, and all the major things I'm working on will be published there. Also have an Instagram account. There's a link tree on the Twitter. You can discover all my other YouTube channels, the creations, the animations I did before joining EOS Support. Everything is there.
Awesome. Bishop, this has been amazing. I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast and coming with me. And I think it's been an amazing episode. And I think this is giving a lot of brand new ideas to people and our audience watching. So thank you very much for being here. And
it's been my pleasure. Truly wonderful episode. Yeah, had a great time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye, Bishop. Take care.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Please keep in mind that none of what's said in this podcast should be considered financial advice. You are strongly recommended to do your own research and do not take anything we say in this podcast as a recommendation to buy or sell any assets whatsoever.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Web3 Creators Podcast. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all of your favorite platforms. And if you're serious about building your own Web3 business, head over to web3creatordojo.com and check out our courses. That's web3creatordojo.com. See you soon, creators.